What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Stream On Streamin' On podcast. We are Blluist, here for another monthly update, I should say. What kind of happened throughout the month of, what is that? Is that July? It's July,
Yes.
right? Okay, July 2023. Yeah. Welcome back. Last time we were on the couch. Blue is now back here.
My back is back.
Your back is back.
My back is back.
In the battle
so
station.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. My hips are doing much better. I still do have trouble if I'm like walking around a lot or if I sit too long, but like on like a hard chair. But other than that, we've been pretty good. I mean, I've been back to the desk regularly now. So, I mean, we stream here. We're back to streaming on the desk. So I think we're pretty much back to normal.
I would say so. So after, because like when we first came back, it was like we wanted to make sure that you weren't in complete pain when you were streaming. So we did like shorter times. But I guess we still streamed the normal amount, but it wasn't like, we didn't like take days off, I think.
We did not.
But yeah, so you feeling okay?
The cushions definitely help.
Oh, yeah, you have like a chair in your chair now.
I have a lumbar support cushion and a butt cushion. So they definitely help. But I mean, most of the time, as long as we don't go too overboard, it's okay. I think there was one time where we ended up streaming like 7-8 hours, and then I started like kind of feeling it. But yeah.
So you feel good now?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good to go.
That's good. What did it feel like coming back? For me, it was like, I was doing imp streams, impromptu streams over here on the desk, even during that month, or like the 2 weeks. But did it feel weird coming back at all for you?
I mean, not necessarily weird. It was more like I was kind of scared that it was going to impact my back again, and then I was going to end up on the couch for even longer. So there was a little bit of a hesitation. Like even now, I don't really sit here.
That's true.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't really hang out here anymore after stream. Like I usually go to the couch. So I don't know. I think part of me is still a little scared.
Yeah. I mean, that's normal.
Yeah.
Especially with how it happened, where it was just like a normal thing that, it wasn't like, it was just picking up a shirt that,
Yeah, so I'm just terrified to like sit for too long.
Terrified to sit for a long time?
Yeah.
Makes sense. So we're back now, back at the desk doing the thing, back to playing video games mostly. And it's been, I've completely lost like track of time. Like I always like, it feels like every month gets shorter and shorter.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to believe that it's already almost August.
Yeah, so it's super fucking hot in Japan now, and it's just like it's a good excuse to not leave the house, and we can play video games and stream. So it's like, I'm glad we do this. Our jobs doesn't require us to go outside or.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice.
It's been disgusting these past few days.
Yeah, I mean, you can like touch the air is how you described it. Like it feels like you can
swim in it.
You can swim in it. So yeah, it's like we've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy since we finally be able to boot up the PS5. So we've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy, and a lot more Final Fantasy, and I think a little bit more Final Fantasy is kind of what has been on the menu, I guess. But any like besides like the games and whatnot, does it feel weird that you're like streaming besides your back?
Well, I mean, like there's one thing I actually wanted to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
Whether it's because like I think we've addressed it before. Like we've talked about it on a different podcast, like previous episode before.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I still have trouble with, that I have lingering thoughts with, is when we play games like Final Fantasy 16, where so many people are avoiding spoilers. I feel guilty for playing it every day. And I was wondering if you had that same thing. Where guilty as in like, I want to play other games so people who are avoiding spoilers can still come hang out during the week. So we're not blocking out everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
sorry, I'll let you finish your
it's
thought.
not like because I do want to play 16, but I am interested in other games too. So there's a part of me that's like, oh well, I like other games too. So like, why not just do both? Is what that's going through my head a lot. But I noticed that you don't really do that much.
I don't, yeah.
So I was wondering if you do just not feel like
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Of course, as somebody that, you know, we're not playing games off stream. So there's a side of us that plays the game, and there's the side that, you know, we're streaming it to people. And that's like the basis. There's like I wouldn't say like the receiving end, but it's not just a private activity. So I really, really have that thought. Like, okay, it's very obvious to people, like to us, that and it's nothing people need to hide or anything like that. But it's just like, okay, well, we're playing a game, super highly anticipated. Everybody wants to play it. It's not out on available platforms for a lot of people, so we can't play it. A lot of people can't watch it because it's a very important game for people, and they want to play it for themselves. Totally
it's
understand.
a huge game.
That being said, once you start a game that is that, and it's highly anticipated within us, right? At the same time, a game like this, I have the thought that once you start it and you don't play it for a while, and we come back to it, you lose momentum, not for the stream, but the excitement to stream the game, the momentum of the game itself. I don't want to have a story that's this good, this enticing, that will, you know, it's obviously like just really grabbing us by the heart, and I don't want to just leave it on the shelf for like 2 weeks, because we stream 5 times a day. If it's just normal scheduled streams, that's 10 streams plus, and you know, and then multiply that by what, average 6 to 8 hours of that. All right, that's like, how many hours is that, the kanji, right? Like, it's like a lot of hours that go into, you know, almost 100 hours, closing in on 100 hours of like just leaving that on the shelf. And when you get back to it, it's like you forget a lot of things. You don't.
Yeah, but I don't mean like leaving it for 2 weeks, but I'm talking about like playing 16 for 4 days a week, and then one day you do something else.
4 days a week and doing
like Wednesdays we do something else.
I'd rather just do it all and then do it all in one go, just have the full experience. And then if the people that are waiting decide to come back, that's fine. Or if they're like, oh, you know what, to me it's just kind of like a they understand too type situation, that we'd rather just get it done with, rather than like them having to be like, oh, I can't come this day, and that just gets longer and longer. Where it's like, okay, this chunk, I can't watch it, that's fine. And then we figure out a way that we don't just spend ages and ages in the game, but still having a really full experience of it and being able to stream it for the people that are there. Because I'm going to prioritize anybody that's there in that moment over the people that aren't there. And that's not like to say I don't want to come off wrong. I'm not saying that I don't care about the people that are not watching us. I 100% agree, and I apologize for the people that want to enjoy Blluist, but they can't because of the game. Right? And and that's why we actually do other games in between. We've done it, and we're like just chatting streams. And then I would actually throw out another notification after we said that we're going to stream, just to let people know that, hey, we're going to stream. We're going to a just chatting stream. So people that are avoiding spoilers can come hang out, because I know it's something that you've been avoiding, which you don't want to, because it means a lot that people want to come hang out. That being said, when the stream goes on and we're playing Final Fantasy 16, there are people there that are watching because even if they haven't played the game yet, because they want to experience it with Blluist,
Right.
right? And in that moment, I'm not going to be thinking about. I'm going to prioritize the people that are actually there,
Right.
and that the people that are watching it, right? In that moment, and so for me, it's how is the best stream? What's the best stream that I can do for the people that are here and for ourselves and like that stuff. So I would rather do that for a chunk of time and then do the best that we can. Be the best Final Fantasy 16 stream there is. That's my main goal. I want to be the best, most memorable Final Fantasy 16 stream. Like that's the thing, right? Like for the people that are watching at least. That's the main goal. Have a chunk. Once we're done with that, everybody can, the people that have been waiting. Sometimes they won't be waiting. They're like, maybe I'll just go somewhere else. That's totally understandable, but they can come back, and then they don't have to keep being like, okay, today I can't go today, because we don't say like, hey, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays we play 16, blah blah blah. This day we don't do that.
Right.
I don't want them to wake up being excited to hang out and then go, oh man. I'd rather just be like, all right. I'd rather have them be like, all right, this period, I can't watch it. And I can't watch the Blluist stream. And then that way my mind can be on the people that are there and the people and the game itself. And like, I can focus. Whereas if it's kind of like scattered, my focus is all over the place, and I feel like just honing in on that big chunk and then just done. And I have a specific reason why, is because we made a huge mistake with that with Danganronpa. Huge mistake. So I think when we played Danganronpa 1, we played 2, like not even half of it, like a third of 2, didn't play for like a year, and we came back to it. Worst decision. We should have either done it or we should have
not. Yeah.
And it was a learning experience, but I don't want anything like that ever again. Where everyone's just lost as hell. We're lost as hell. And it's like, and then it kind of like, it's okay because it was still like early on in the game, and it was like okay at the end. But that's just not a fulfilling experience if I was watching a stream for such a story heavy game. It could happen for other games, like maybe games that don't have that the story doesn't matter as much, in the sense that you don't need to know what happened on page 1. To understand where you are. But in a game that's so story heavy, I think it's exciting to, because there are people that are excited to see the Blluist stream Final Fantasy 16, and people come and hang out. And in this case, not to say who's better or who's worse or whatever, as a streamer, the streamer will prioritize. I will prioritize the people that are there. Arigato. Thank you for coming. I understand that some people don't, want to avoid spoilers. I would too. I have been doing that. So I totally understand that. So there's nothing wrong with that. And we even appreciate people that are like, that will even go out of their way and tell us, like, I want to be here, but I can't because I want to avoid spoilers. Hell yeah. Like, totally understand. We've never been like, oh man, come on. No, like, we've always been like, sorry, man. I really respect that. Thank you for telling us that. Right? So it's like nothing wrong in that sense. And I just want to make that really clear. And we appreciate that. We appreciate that you guys want to come, but you can't. And you tell us that. But when we stream it, I'm going to focus on all my effort on the people that are there. And I don't want this lingering thought of like, oh, but the people that aren't here, what should we do? But like, I try to kind of separate myself from that. And I think the faster we can get out of that mode, in the sense that I'm not going to rush the game. I'm not going to rush the game. Hell no. We're going to play at our pace, what we think is good. But the faster we can get that kind of big chunk out of the way, it makes it, because there's always going to be a game with spoilers for some people.
Right. I just meant more like, do you ever feel guilty? I wasn't really talking about whether people avoid or it's but yeah, more like, do you just feel guilty for playing something for a really long time kind of thing?
Oh,
Because like
something for a really long
yeah,
time.
because like 16 is a long game. So it's like 100-hour game, right?
Okay.
Or something, or
Yeah.
a 50-hour game kind of thing. Like, do you feel guilty for just like, because I feel guilty when we're playing a game that people are actively avoiding for a really long time with no breaks in between, which we are doing. We did yesterday.
We took a break yesterday.
Not break, but like we played a different game yesterday. So
Yeah.
but there's like always like that lingering thought in my head. If we don't do that, then it's like I have that thought where it's like, oh, we should kind of thing.
Mm.
But I guess it's like, do you have that too?
Of course. That's what I mean. That whole thing, that whole spiel that I had to just reiterate like 5 times within the same convo is me, because I don't want it to come out wrong, even though I'm really bad with my words, is me trying to cope with that. Me trying to cope with me feeling guilty of not being able to, pretty much, to put it bluntly, to do something that hurts the channel.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, hurts the channel.
Right.
And I think we're actively doing, but I don't think so. I kind of have like a different mindset when it comes to like hurting the channel, so it's not 100% accurate, but the more we get stuck to that mindset, which I do share with you, and that's why I have to have like a justification, or in my mind it's like so much appreciation for the people that are not on the streams but they're there. Like if we do it just chatting, people come in and they're like, hey dude, like whoa, we're not playing that game today, we can watch, right?
Yeah.
And it's not something that we should be saying actively a lot.
Right. Yeah.
I would stop you from having this conversation if this is like day 2 of Final Fantasy 16. And the reason why is because I don't want people that can't come to the show to not be able to voice their opinions about that. Like them like feel bad about it. Being like,
right.
Like that's a really unnecessary we appreciate it, but it's unnecessary to have that, and it's our job to get rid of that kind of like, the streamer wants to play this game, but I can't watch it, so I can't say something. I can't, that's so it's unnecessary, and it's our responsibility to make sure we create a space and a connection and trust with the people that hang out to be able to say whatever the fuck they want, and pretty much, and be like, all right, I'm out. Like it's fine. Like I appreciate. I'll watch you guys on the next stream, and then they will come back. Like hopefully that's all up to us, to be able to make that connection and make them want to come back even after a while. But I think there is that guilt, yeah, and I think everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through that moment, especially with a huge title like this that's just so highly anticipated. And what's going to be harder is one that we'll probably have to talk about is this doesn't end once the game ends.
Yeah, we can't talk about it forever. I mean, not forever, but until it comes out on PC, we can't talk about the game.
That's the thing. Yeah. I'm going to. Like, I think this is a conversation that we've had before, and I kind of played it up on stream. But regarding spoilers, you think that we shouldn't talk about the game
until it's out on PC? Yeah.
So we're just gonna ignore that this game existed. If anybody says like, "Did you play 16?" If somebody comes in, new chatter comes in and says, "Hey, how was Final Fantasy 16?"
And we can say we liked it. We can say our thoughts about it, but we shouldn't be saying, "Oh yeah, this happened in the end, and I was devastated."
What happens if that's your favorite scene? You shouldn't say.
Then you can just say the ending was my favorite.
What happens if that in your mind, the new person is new to the community, right? And this is just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
New to the community, and they said you said the ending is great.
Mhm.
What are the chances that this person has beat the game and is going to start talking about the ending? And then are you going to punish them for talking about the ending? You have to pick. I think in that situation, we need to decide on left or right. Like,
Then we have to
are we
preface
gonna,
saying,
not like, and I don't mean
Yeah.
like politically. I mean like.
then we're just gonna have to preface saying, I don't want to get into spoilers, but I liked the ending because there's people who haven't played yet, but I liked the ending the most.
Really?
Yes, because it's still within a year of release, and we've talked about it before. Where if it's something that's been it's within the year, it's too risky.
For me,
And I think it's common courtesy if
I
it's
think
within a year.
When we had this conversation, this is about movies. These were things that we did off stream.
Yeah.
Things that were, so if we watched a movie and we're talking about that movie, and let's say that movie just came out, right? And then we should be like respectful of that. But I was under the impression that if we do the thing on stream and we do it on stream and we publicly experience this, we should be able to talk about it.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's different because most of the time I would agree with you, but not with 16 because it's way too big of a game. It's too big of a franchise and it's too highly anticipated for me to be okay with spoiling stuff within the year release. It hasn't been a year yet. It's only been like a month since release.
Yeah.
And we have that's way too inconsiderate for a game that's as big as this.
It's inconsiderate to who? The people that are...
Because there's people who are planning to get a PS5 who hasn't even gotten it yet. Or they haven't had the time to play yet.
That's interesting.
Because it's not like, it's not an active choice of waiting for the PC. That's could be a year or two from now. It's people who are wanting to play, but maybe they don't have time yet, and they were gonna play next month or something. Like it hasn't even been 6 months.
No,
even.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes,
I think it's like, and with a game this important, because you already said that this game is that important.
Mm-hmm.
With a game this important, it's way beyond us. I think
it's way beyond us.
It's way beyond everyone.
I agree with you, and I think it's an important conversation to have because
this isn't about like we're spoiling like, I don't know, some a smaller game that maybe not everyone's gonna play. We're talking about Final Fantasy 16, which is a highly anticipated. Most people have heard of this game, kind of levels of massive.
Then why did you have no problem spoiling Elden Ring? In the sense that we talked about everything. We never had a
Elden
moment.
Ring isn't a console exclusive game.
Okay. Everyone had
access to it.
Okay. So everyone had access to it. So it's the exclusivity of it.
Yeah.
Then why are you even streaming it? Would be my devil's advocate question. As a streamer,
honestly, why are we streaming it then? Why don't we wait until PC release? We could have. That was an option we talked about.
Okay.
So, but it's because of our selfish reasons that we're playing it on PS5. It's because we can't wait till PC.
Right. No, of course.
But technically, we should have just waited till PC. So then that's better for our channel too, because everyone have already played it. We don't have to worry about spoilers, and we could do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
But we are choosing our selfish reasons for playing it early on a console exclusive game that's already been announced, saying, "Oh, we'll release it for PC." So it's confirmed that it's coming out on PC.
Not only that,
but we are taking the selfish decision to play it early on PS5.
Right. I mean, that being said, the PS5 is something that was gifted to us from the community.
Yeah.
So there's also like, and we're not saying that like that people forced us to play or anything like that. And because Blue is saying that we should have waited for the PC. There was an option. No, she's not saying that we should have. I'm saying
that was an option
to just wait to play on PS5 for after the PC release of the game.
Yeah. Because we could have just held on to our PS5 copy until it came out on PC. So then everyone had access to it, and then we play our PS5 copy.
So we
Like
can
that
start.
was a possibility too, but we didn't wait.
But in that case, the PC release comes out, right?
Yeah.
Will you play on day one of PC release? And and would that just magically be okay to? Because the people playing on PC will still not come to the stream.
No, we'll delay it by a couple days, like we did with Elden Ring. We gave everyone a weekend to get ahead of us.
We didn't. We just didn't play. But yeah, like it wasn't like. I feel like.
I mean, like we played a little bit later, so everyone had a few days to get ahead of us.
And then you would start playing it.
Yeah, if you really want to be like no spoiler, no like completely for like not doing it. If you take out our emotions for the game completely out of it, and you're thinking about it from like 100% business, like or streamer perspective of just business.
Yeah.
Then you would wait until PC release and then delay playing it yourself.
You would have, so it would be like so now that we're in a situation where we are playing it, and by the way, I don't regret playing it.
No, not
this sounds
at all.
extremely negative. I do not. I am completely satisfied with the timing that we played it, and because the last thing I want people to think is the last thing I want people to think is that we made a mistake.
Yeah,
no. There's no mistake here. Like, it sucks for the people, and it's a hard line because it would be a lie for me to say that I feel sorry and I felt like I feel like we're doing something bad to the people that can't watch. 100%. Like 100% of my feeling is that, because that's not true. Like I have that feeling. I have that feeling of, man, I wish everybody could be there. Of course, right? Of course. I want everyone to be there. But
I mean,
I'm also like thinking, thank fuck for the people that are there.
Yeah.
And that will have more attention from me mentally. Mentally, of course, physically, because you guys are actually there. But like, I'm going to be making sure, or trying my best to make sure that everybody there that's spending their time is having the best time that they can.
And the whole point to everything I was saying, the whole point is the fact that because we are enjoying our copy of 16 a lot earlier than people on PC can, I think it's part of that responsibility, or it's part of kind of like the agreement is to avoid spoilers because we are playing it technically early, is what I think. I'm not saying what we chose to do was wrong or anything like that at all, because I'm very glad I am enjoying our 16 journey, and I am so happy I don't have to wait to play it. But what I'm saying is, if you want to just freely talk about it, not have to worry about spoiling anyone, then you need to make sure that everyone has had equal opportunity to have been able to play it before you freely talk about it without some kind of warning.
I feel like
is what I think.
Yes, if you're worried about my point is, yes, you're if the thing is, let's not spoil anybody, and even then we'll spoil somebody, but like the majority, let's not spoil them. Like, if that's your main goal, I'm saying, is that going, like, where is the line? Does the line, because a lot of our conversations that we have is on stream are about the things that we do, right? This is obvious. Like, it's just like, well, yeah, right? That a lot of the stuff is about what we do. And we play a game that is so far easily game of the year for me. That's like, as we're playing this, it's going to be very hard to put into account people when there's a certain level of excitement. So I'm saying, like, do we have to, and this is just a conversation I'm having,
Mm-hmm.
a really important one that goes after we play the game, is where do we draw the line of like, how much do we, I don't want to use the word care because it sounds really cold, but like, how much can we accommodate? Do we have to do the 100 or 0 thing where,
Or, I mean,
you know what I
just
mean? Like,
provide
it's
enough
hard.
warning. Is what we've said before. It's not that hard to say, like, hey, I want to talk about it. So I'm going to raise my hand while I talk about it. And then you talk about it and then move on, kind of thing. Is what we're going to have to do with a game like 16. And like I said, if it's not a game that's this big, I don't think we have to be as sensitive. But with a game this massive, I think it's, yeah, I think we should.
And I know like it sounds evil, or like I'm definitely on, like, I'm thinking your opinion, sorry, your suggestion, or the way that you are thinking of this is very like nice and thoughtful and kind. But I think this is really hard. I think a lot of people they might not talk about it, but they must think about this, right?
Because here, let me give you a situation. You're watching a streamer.
Mm-hmm.
They already played 16.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be kind of nice if they just gave you a small warning so you can mute right before they talk about it?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's just a tiny little warning saying, "Hey, we're gonna talk about it.
But
Give me 10."
But like, you see, then I start like
Yeah.
if we're thinking of possibilities, right? That's what happens if I was, and this is a hypothetical. I went to go get a coffee and I didn't hear that. Right? Like all these little things start coming into play with stuff like that, where you think like it's completely safe to do this, and we figured out a system, and the more systems we create, it breaks. There's always a way that it breaks. And so it's like, I don't want people to be betrayed like that, in that sense. So it would be like, either we can talk about it and then people go, okay, I'm going to mute it, right? But I know they're going to talk about it and it might come out, especially after they finish the stream. And I know what I'm saying is pretty much making the period of people that can't come to the streams longer, right? And that's like, I understand that. I understand what I'm saying. So it's not like, and I'm not saying we're gonna do this. This is a suggestion. In the longevity of streaming,
Yeah.
right? In the longevity of streaming, as streamers, would it be important? And again, I'm not saying we're gonna do this. I'm just throwing this as just like a conversation point. And I'm gonna go really blunt with this: to not care. Just to not care once the game is over. You were there. We experienced it. We're gonna talk like everybody experienced it. Of course, a lot of people didn't, and they let us know. But how much do we put in that to accommodation over the guys that were there, guys and girls that were there, that want to talk about it? Dude, Blue Gray, how was that, man? Dude, I played the game. And I was super excited. I couldn't watch the last 2 streams. I'm watching the VOD right now. How fucking cool was the ending? And for us to be like, not be able to talk about that, or
And I'm saying we
even
can,
say, dude, this thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, what like to be like, hey, we're gonna talk about, and then these people that are finally here are like, oh, okay, I gotta go now. I gotta leave again. Mizaina. Like, it's like, it seems like and we're gonna do this for a year without a slip up.
Then don't talk about it.
So just punish people for talking about it. Just shut them up.
You don't have to punish people, but you can just be like, hey, we're avoiding spoilers for people who haven't played because they're in chat right now. So, sorry, we're not going to talk about it on stream.
if we start doing that, we're gonna have to do that for every major release going on, or else there's gonna be a moment where like they used to do that, now they don't care. And as streamers, our weapon, or like what we use, sorry, not our weapon, but like what we use is our voice. That's why React content is so big, right? It's like it's all about reacting to things. It's a lot of it is reacting to the games. It's about how much we can talk about stuff and the banter, right? And we're gonna mute ourselves, right? And I know what I'm saying for the people that are not playing right now, it's gonna come off very selfish, and I totally understand that. And I hopefully through the way that I'm explaining it, I'm really bad at explaining things, but I hope that it doesn't come off as that. Let's not care about those people. Let's not care about them. Oh god, like I just really hope it doesn't come off like that. You know, it might, but I'm saying like I think it's detrimental for us as streamers to not be able to talk about that, because at that point we are in priority on the priority list. The people that weren't on the streams are above the people that were on the stream in the priority list.
I don't really see it as a priority list, but
we are, because if they want to talk about it, they want to do A. They don't want to do A. They're the same things, but you're saying we shouldn't do it because there's no global release, and some people cannot play the game, which I totally understand. And so we should prioritize that
until there's a full release, yes.
Which is we don't even know, but it's at least a year.
Yeah.
Which means that the heat of it is completely gone.
Yeah.
The heat of us playing it, finishing it, and like, wow, that was awesome, is gone. Completely dead.
Unfortunately, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we're and so that's what we should do.
Because I think, especially at our size, it matters. We have to care. Like, really? To put it bluntly, we have to care. We're not at a place where we have thousands and thousands of people where we can't accommodate for for every single person. But we're at a size where we can.
Okay, so you think that
like like if you're at a size where you look at a username and you don't know their personality at all, I think you can just I mean, this makes it sound really bad, but you can't care as much because it's just a user. You can't connect with anyone.
Yeah.
But when you're this size, you can look at a username and you know exactly what kind of people they are. At our size,
or generally
speaking,
a lot of the chatters,
yeah, like you know what their personality's like how they type, when they're there on stream, when they do leave, or like why they're not here. Like you kind of know a lot of the people's situations. So in our situation, it's not like, oh well, there's a bunch of people here, like they're watching me like I'm TV, right? That's how I think if you're a lot bigger, you can't have that kind of connection with people. Yeah. But with us, we're at in our level, our size, we're not big enough to be like, well, I don't know any of these people.
Right.
Because we do know some of these people.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you have to be a little bit more sensitive than someone with a shit ton of people. That's why people, like really really big streamers do spoil stuff all the time. But in their situation, they don't really have to be that sensitive.
Right.
I think.
I just don't want it to come off as like... Right, okay, so, like, it's not... A lot of, like, I see that. And I understand. Like, it does... I just think it's really important to revolve the conversation around... also include, and I'm not saying you are doing this, it just seems that when people are talking about this topic, whether it be spoilers for this game specifically or just spoilers in general, the people that get prioritized of course, are the people that get spoiled, right? The people
Yeah.
that don't want to get spoiled. Like, I don't want someone to come in and just tell us the ending to the game, right? So like, so on like adult. So it's that, but there needs to be there for me, and I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured it out, but what we're experiencing in 16 is so special, right? The game is so special, yeah, and the game is extremely special, and I think the people that are there, some of them are getting spoiled while while they watch us,
Yeah.
right? And that's like that's crazy humbling that these people would like they love this game, but they're like, you know what? I'm not gonna get my PS5 yet. You know, maybe it's coming next month. I'm just gonna watch Blluist. They're ahead of me in the game, but I'm gonna watch it because I like it. I like this. I like being here, and them being, even if I'm getting spoiled, I want to experience their adventure, right?
Yeah.
それを that needs to be that needs to be the most important thing to us. Of course, the people that are there, I've finished the game. I'm here.
I mean,
I think we need to put some kind of. I think it's important for us to put some kind of care and appreciation to those people too that are like, because the priority list is so on the people that are not there, and then and not just the people that we know on stream, people that lurk and we've never seen their usernames are also the same too.
I mean, that's why I wanted, that's why my answer was to make a middle ground where we just warn people. And that's I mean, that's the repercussions is if they're out getting coffee and they don't hear it, that's an accident. But we can't accommodate for everyone who is avoiding spoilers, because what we're doing is prioritizing the people who were there by talking about it, but offering some kind of warning to people who are avoiding spoilers. So sure, maybe there's chances that everyone who wants to avoid it can't because they don't hear us saying, hey, we're going to talk about it.
Right.
But at least that's
A spoiler warning.
a spoiler warning. So we are doing what we can to still talk about it, but give enough people a chance to mute for 10 minutes or however long.
Right. So give us spoiler warning.
That's the only middle ground that I can think of.
Yeah.
Because it's, yeah, like you said, it's not fair to not talk about it, but it's also not fair to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can you do? You have to make a situation where some people can mute and some people don't mute. So
yeah, I think, yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Because then you talk about like, oh well, what about, the chat?
The what?
The chat. Like people are gonna start chatting, like talking about spoilers in the chat too, right?
We can't.
And then we're gonna have it on our screen too. So it's like, oh, do we refresh everything? No, we're not. So that's up to the person who is avoiding spoilers.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to mute and they're gonna have to keep refreshing.
Yeah.
And they might read something on accident, unfortunately. But that's just how
we can't control that.
We can't control that. And so that's what I mean by middle ground is we'll do what we can to give you guys enough time to step away for 10, 15 minutes, however long that you think it is.
Yeah.
And come back and hopefully we're done. But I can't guarantee that it's going to be squeaky clean 100% because it is hard to not talk about something, especially if you're really excited.
Yeah, and I don't want... One thing that I want to make really clear is if you're in the chat, you can talk about whatever you want. In the sense that, like, if you... At our size, it's... we don't get spoiled all that much. Like, everyone's very respectful. It's been a great ride so far. And it probably it'll probably be this way. And, but you guys can talk about it when the game is over. And I think that is a line that we have to, like, yes, let's do that. Like the hand thing, although I don't really like it because it kills the rhythm of things, but like, I think that's respectful. Even though I don't fully agree with it, I think that is the most, it shows that we're try.
That's the middle ground that we can think of.
Yeah, and that's like the best that we can do. And I think we should do our best. I think it's that important of a game, and yes, and it's I'm more. There's times where I just obviously just keep talking, and when I get excited, I can't stop myself. それなんだよね. It's kind of like making. It's not. It's like. It's hard because the more we talk about this, it makes it awkward for the people that are gonna get spoiled or like that have the risk of getting spoiled.
Yeah.
And that's why. But I know that, and I hope those people listen to this because there's a lot of thought going into it. I want everyone to know that there's, for the people that come hang out, I haven't been talking about the people that come hang out and how much we appreciate it. And that's why I keep mentioning it once in a while because we haven't forgotten those people. The priority list isn't like that, but I think when we're streaming, it's all on the people that are there. But it's I think the rhythm thing, like the hand thing, I think that's the best middle ground. But for the people that are in the chat, once we finish the game, you can talk about anything. And the people that are coming back, if that is what makes or breaks viewing Blluist, so be it. It's our responsibility that we couldn't be streamers that could still keep you guys even after that. I think the goal is to this is like maybe one little spoiler happened and then like I'm going to leave this channel forever. That's on us.
Twitch is like any other social media. When a big game comes out, there's always a chance that you're going to get spoiled. You can mute all the channels related to it, but one person is going to like something that someone else said, and it's going to pop up on your feed, and you're going to get spoiled. You can't avoid it 100%. And that's how Twitch is too. We'll try our best to be that muted channel where you mute that channel for a few weeks, right? And then hopefully by the time you unmute it, they're done talking about it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But there's also a chance that they're not. But we'll try our best to be that. But the people in chat are going to be those people who you haven't muted that we are interacting with. So there is a chance that you will face spoilers.
Yes.
But it's like that with any other social media. So you would have to avoid all social media forever until the game releases if you want 100% no spoiler whatsoever. So there is a risk to being on the internet, whether it be YouTube or Twitter or Twitch or whatever.
This conversation is what I think, this conversation gets harder and harder the more it seems like we're digging a hole.
Yeah.
The more we talk about it, but it's super important to talk about it because it's a challenge because there's no actual answer. There's no actual answer, and I think it's very important that to show, at least in this kind of format, like the podcast is a very, very niche it's very niche content that we put out. But even on this platform, I want to make it very clear that we're really trying to think of everybody. It's impossible. It's impossible to think about everybody, but it's.
And I mean, we're on the receiving end too. Like I said, I didn't want spoilers for 16, but with how social media is, unfortunately, I already saw something. But that's just how it is. Am I going to not play the game? No, of course not. I'm still looking forward to it. It's not going to change my excitement for it. But unfortunately, you do see things, and it's kind of out of your control.
But so, the point is, I'm trying to formulate what the best way to approach. And then some people are going to be like, wow, you guys are really blowing this out of proportion. But this is how much we think about this. And it's like, that's how important it is to us. And how damaging it is in the sense that it breaks our heart when we do something that we like and we can't share it, not because people don't want to see it. I mean, people want to see us. Is because that thing that they're waiting for is so important to them. And so it's like this, oh man, I totally understand that.
Mhm.
So sorry, like that we can't. I'm so sorry that you can't watch us, and like
But it comes from a place of understanding.
yeah,
Because
but
we 100% know
yeah,
why you're not watching
because we
us
do the
or you
same
can't.
thing.
Yeah, and it's the same thing.
We do the same thing, and
Yeah.
so it's just our turn to finally play now, type
Yeah.
thing. And I think I just don't want it to be like people are scared of spoilers. I think, but I also it's hard because I don't want it. I want it to be spoiler free. In a perfect world, to be spoiler free, and then somehow the AI can just like erase all other comments for you that have things related to Final Fantasy 16 and spoilers. Because I want to be excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be after the game. I want to talk about it. I want to be able to share it with the people that we played it with. I want to be, but also at the same time, as much as I want that, and you know me, I'm always excited about stuff. As much as I want to be excited about that, I want to. We want to accommodate for the people that are there, right? And we know very well that us recording this and putting this out, just the act of that, no matter what we say, and no matter how much I try to word things the best way as possible, this is gonna stop people from either talking about something or this is gonna stop people from actually coming to the stream. No matter, just because you blew it up this much. No, but
Yeah.
I think it's really important. It's
No,
not. It's
I
not
know.
like, oh, great, did it again type thing.
No.
This is
That's
like
just how it is.
yeah. This is like
I mean, it's serious. It's a serious topic.
yeah. It's something that is really
It's something that we think about a lot.
with a lot of games.
Whenever
lot
a
of
new
games,
game comes
yeah.
out, yeah.
With a lot
Like
of games. Yeah.
all big games that come out. I mean, it's just been fortunate because the last ones that were really big, like Elden Ring, wasn't story driven.
Yeah.
So it wasn't super spoiler heavy. Because I think a lot of spoilers tend to be about story, not necessarily about like combat or whatnot, or like weapon choices or stuff. I mean, of course, some people do care about that too. Of course, I'm not saying that's not spoilers or anything, but we've been fortunate enough that we haven't had to consider something as major as a game like Final Fantasy 16.
The thing about this is, and what scares me, is what is the line of this game is big enough. For example,
Mm-hmm.
Armored Core is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've never touched the franchise before,
Mhm.
and we will be playing it.
Mhm.
Right? For us, it's the first time touching this game.
Yeah.
I don't think this kind of conversation we would even think about it with Armored Core 6 from a subjective standpoint because it's our first time. We didn't grow up with it, but to some people, Armored Core 6 is like and we know somebody personally that is buying this console, or I'm not sorry, like I don't know, but like they've been waiting for this forever, ever. This is like the first game they'll buy in years type thing.
Yeah.
Right, and it's super important to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think there's gonna be a point because there's no metric, and no fucking way am I gonna bring in like sales number, like some stupid shit like that. Like
I mean,
this is purely subjective
Yeah.
with how important Final Fantasy as a franchise is to us. None doubt. It all comes from that.
I mean, I'm basing mine on the fact that would someone who's not into video games know this title?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly,
still ambiguous.
Exactly. So
That's
it's
why-
all ambiguous.
That's
is
why
the point.
That's my thing about creating rules about this hand and like which games do we do this for? Tokao. Like I start thinking like if we start putting in stuff like that, then we're gonna have to start thinking about it for more games. And so I just want to preface it that, and just for right now, we're only doing this for Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
I just want to make that clear that we're only doing this whole raise your hand thing for 16 from a very, very subjective standpoint, because we believe that the people that hang out at Blluist is Final Fantasy is very important to them, and it's very important to us personally. Very selfish. It's important to us, and we feel that it's important for the majority of people. Okay, so, but as a rule, we're only doing it, and we might add it somewhere else. I don't know, and then we'll have to say it when that happens again. But for this, whatever, for now, we're only doing this for Final Fantasy 16. We're only doing this. Raise your hand when there's a spoiler, and we're doing it until release, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll be talking
but...
about 16 until a year. Like, that's all we talk about for the next year. But we need to say that because games are special to people. Certain franchises and games have a different place in people's hearts.
Yeah, for sure.
And it could be for Pokemon too. So if you said that, we would have to done this for Pokemon too. And
I mean, if
anything.
The thing is, like, for me, it was, if this game came out on PC at the same time it did on console, I wouldn't think we need to do the hand thing. It's just the fact that it is so console specific and it's not available on PS4. Like, PS5 isn't something everyone has. And that's why I think we just need to be a little bit more sensitive than just like, oh yeah, it's available on PS4. Then it's okay. So if it is available on a PS4 and a PS5, then I'd be like, then I think most people have the opportunity to get it. So it's not that big of a deal in my mind.
So,
but it's just the fact that it's only on a PS5, which is already pretty rare that people have.
Yeah, and
it's not even available. On a previous gen console.
I don't know if you're thinking this far, but I'm saying this specifically because the Final Fantasy VII remake is coming out on PS5, and we will probably play that. And I'm not gonna do it for that.
No, because 7 is already a game that's been out for a while, even if they change the story.
But the remake is very different. There's gonna be a million arguments about, well, the remake is going in a different direction. But I'm making it very clear we're not doing the hand rule for the remake.
Yeah, because it's a remake.
Well, don't say that, because it's not. Because you if your argument is that it's a game that already existed, people can refute that by saying it's not because it's going in a different direction, so you don't know what can be a spoiler, right? So don't say it's because of the remake. We're just not doing it for 7 Rebirth. Yeah. Okay? Like, we're not doing it. Like, we're not. This is the only game that we're going to be doing it for. Of course, that argument would work for Demon Souls, where it's like it's a remake of the game, so of course we're not going to do it, even though it's only on PS5. Like, it's a remake, so we can talk about that game, right? We have to make it clear. If I'm agreeing to creating a rule about spoilers where we legit stop the stream for a moment like this to talk about something, it's only fair to everybody that's on the stream to have a clear rule what's yes and what's no, right?
Yeah.
And the best way that I can think of is just saying we're only doing it for 16.
For 16.
That's
as
it.
of now.
Yeah. There might be something in the future, but again,
as of now, it's only 16.
We're only doing this hand thing for 16. In regards to games. And of course, I'm not talking about things we do off stream, like movies. I'm talking about things that, this is a special case because we're censoring what we say with something that we did on stream.
Yeah.
This is extremely rare.
Which normally we don't do.
Yeah. And I don't think we even, like, I honestly think that it's, I don't know if I 100% agree with this, but I agreed with what you said. I agreed with what you said. If this is a stream that I was just doing by myself, I wouldn't do this. But because what you said makes sense, I think it's logical and people would appreciate it, I think that just this time, I think it's and that's something that by the way, we didn't have this deep of a conversation about like what we should do outside of, I don't know why we're doing it here.
I don't know why we're doing it on the podcast, but yeah. At least those are our honest thoughts about this whole situation.
It's so we think about it a lot, and again, like I for the people that are there on the stream all the time, thank you so much. Like we always appreciate it, And the people that can't make it to the streams, I'm sorry. I wish there was some way that we could do it, but also it's your kindness. It's everybody's kindness of being like, of course they want to play it. I gotta let them play it. Like they got the PS5. Like there's so much kindness revolving around all of this. That's why it hurts so much. There's no, there's no hate. There's no hate, and that's why it's so hard. There's no aggression. There's nothing that's actually negative. It's just this hard situation from all different types of positivities and like understanding. And it's because, like Blue said, our community is something that is still not like, it's still within control of two bodies, of two minds. So, that's kind of our take on it. It's a really good conversation to have.
It's hard because there's no definite
answer.
yes. There's no right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying makes sense too.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find a middle ground.
Yeah.
And that's all I could think of. So if there was an easier, better way, then that would be great. But I don't think there is.
Yeah.
So this is after thinking about it for so long. This is what I came to. So it's just, it's not like,
Mm-hmm. And it's not like we'll be talking about 16 for like a year.
No,
so
of course
like
not,
it's only just like
just,
a little bit afterwards.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's just a hard situation because it's on a console that's so rare still.
Yeah. And it's not cheap. It's not
exactly. It's not like it's not a. If it was a Switch, that's different. It's not as expensive, but
even buying a new console itself.
Yeah, buying a new console is expensive.
Just for this game is like it's a big thing, and so it's hard. I don't know. This is a podcast I cannot listen to again. This is like I just feel like half of the people is like fuck this guy. Like I'm so scared. Podcasts are probably most fearful. It's the scariest content that we do, which is a weird thing to say because I say a lot of dumb things on stream, but I'm.
It's because
it's live, so it's
very. I think we try to be as honest as possible here, and so we don't really filter ourselves on here much.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're like super filtered or anything on stream either.
Yeah,
like we kind of say what's on our mind a lot of times, but we're not this raw, I guess, or open.
Yeah,
on stream. So we do touch subjects that people might disagree with, or they don't, they won't see eye to eye, or they,
yeah, and it's and I hope people understand that it's we don't it's okay if it hasn't been obvious with our super high production value of this podcast. This is unedited. Like we don't. This is straight up. We just record it and then we put a little intro or something, and then it's in. And so it's pretty much streaming, but we do tackle, like Blue brought this amazing topic that she didn't even tell me that she was going to talk about. I mean, it was going to go in that direction, I feel like, either way.
Yeah.
But starting off with like, do you feel guilty, And I think hopefully this is an interesting topic for people to listen to, and there's no
I mean, it's something I go through every time we play a big game.
Oh, for sure. Me too, yeah. And
we had the same thing during Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Any like major production game, a AAA game that come out, we're always like, should we delay it? Should we make a schedule for it? Should we play everything all at once? Should we not do side quests? Like we talk about everything.
Yeah.
To see what's best.
And also like from a very streamer centric point of view, very simple, drop in viewers.
Yeah.
And drop in active chat. Like that's another thing that you have to do. Like it's like people don't, because those people want to avoid it, you lose viewership and you lose what's more viewership is one thing, but active chat is also one thing.
It gets very quiet.
Yeah. And that's something all streamers want to avoid, right? Like that's just but then again that's
natural.
It's a test, like to be able to like, because I have to like switch on, switch off. Switch a different thing on, going like I'm gonna aim for Blluist to be the best Final Fantasy 16 stream there is of all the like that. change it to that and make sure that the people that are here are the people that weren't there could feel like, oh man, I wish I was there. Or people that found us later go, I wish I was there when they were doing this live. Yeah, and you have to do that, and I just appreciate a lot of, this is not like us moping or about it.
Yeah.
It's not that. That's the reality of it, and it's us as streamers to like, if we didn't have that kind of conversation or that mindset change, it's hard, it's a hard. I think every streamer goes through this, right? Whether they talk about it or not. It's like, but it's about. So then do we not do it? No, we want to do it. I want to challenge ourselves. I want to have fun. The people that are there are really enjoying it. Like, let's put the focus on the people that are there. Let's do it. Just make sure that, just aim to be the best Final Fantasy 16 stream. And that's the best that we can do.
Yeah.
And so there's so many factors. Final Fantasy 16 is so many factors. Is one of the rarities of like, I think this is the first game in the 5 years that we streamed that we had to this deeply think about that. Where it was, which is why this whole entire podcast has been on this one topic. It's and we can go on forever too. Like, there's so much to this that and the reason why there's so much to this is because it never gets solved. There's never a right answer.
Nope.
Right? So it's but I hope that you guys please feel free to ask any questions or like challenge us in the sense
like
that
reiterate something.
Yeah,
if it sounded weird.
This is just like in our heads, like, so
call us out if you need to.
absolutely. Like it's
because like I said, there's no right answer. So you might have a different opinion that's better than ours. So
yeah, and I think whether we decide to do what other people tell us to do or like the ideas, we always like try to kind of evaluate like all the things that we're thinking, and hopefully it's not like we always need to think that it's, if we break, there's no Blluist. So we have to think of ourselves, what Blluist is, and then we think about what creates Blluist, and it's the people around that come and hang out. So we have to have a core. We can't be there needs to be a core Blluist kind of decision, right? And we're not like a remote control car. Like we can't have something controlling us. We need to drive that car, right? And then there's other people that are helping out that kind of push the car, whether we make it go faster engine, but it's gonna come. We're gonna think of something, and then we're gonna be listening to what other people have to say, and then we'll try to like, like that's the best that we can do. But at the end of the day, we'll be the people to make the decisions because this is our chance, it's our responsibility. So, it's that. So it's something that's been bothering is a very negative term. It's something that's been on our mind since we came back from the couch, and that was something that we both feared because we knew that was what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we said it was a blessing in disguise because we got to delay it. But it's not like we delayed it a year.
It's not.
So it's
not that big of a delay or anything. So I
think it's better than playing on day one.
Yeah, for sure.
For us, but yeah, hopefully that was a little bit of like what was going through our heads, a little bit of Blluist that we don't talk about. Like this is what this whole thing is about. A little bit of Blluist that's not on the Twitch channel. It's like, yeah, and I talked a lot as usual, and I know I probably said something that might offend people. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's how it might come across. But please ask me to reiterate anything that I said because I genuinely would like to think that I'm trying to think of the best for everybody in the long run, and of course about us. What's most important is Blluist, and what is important to Blluist. So if that's and I don't mean that in like a selfish way. I just mean like I think to focus on the core of Blluist is what's most important and how everybody benefits. If we stop thinking about us, nobody benefits, I think. So I hope that made sense. I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, let's go to questions.
So like if you think
because you keep reiterating the same thing. So let's move on to questions.
this is probably the worst podcast we've ever had. It was great. Thank you so much for the questions, you guys, for this month. We really appreciate it. First question is from, is this, should we do the Discord name? By D? Is that? Okay, we're going to go by the Discord names. Okay, by D, have you ever had some point were or considered yourself religious? Have you moved on? How did that period impact your lives? I've grew up in Japan.
No, really?
I know. I grew up in Japan with two. I should have. I'm like my brain is like panicking right now.
No, you could just say you've never been religious.
Yes, but I don't want. Okay.
No, because I have more to say. So can I take over?
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah. Okay. Oh,
yeah. So
I'm not religious. Go ahead.
My parents are actually both Christian. My grandparents are Christian. My mom's side is my mom's father. So my grandfather, he's passed away few years ago, but he used to be a pastor. My dad's side are also Christian, so both my parents are Christian, came from Christian families. They're all religious. I mean, they're not like super religious. They're not the type of they're not fanatics or anything. They just go to church on Sundays and that's about it. Maybe pray before dinner time, but that's really the extent of everything. They don't do like let's read the Bible together or anything like that. It's just that's it. My parents give me the option to follow in their footsteps or not believe in it, and I don't believe in it. So I didn't follow them in that sense. I do remember going to like Sunday school after like my grandfather would give his sermon or whatever, and then I would go meet the other kids and they would tell us like Bible stories meant for kids and like related to like real life and stuff. I just remember all the food was really good because they would always serve like food after church, so that was nice. But that's beside the point.
Blue, do you think you can talk about this for 30 more seconds? Because I really need to go pee. Okay.
So yeah, like I never considered myself religious. I think I was too young to be to really believe in anything. Like the Bible stories were fun, and I liked the idea of something there that was kind of guiding me in the right direction and something that would be there after I die kind of thing. But I think after considering everything when I was a teenager, I realized that no, I really don't believe in a higher entity. And I don't believe that there's life after death. It's just, we just become nothing. Or at least that's what I believe. So yeah, I've never really had a period where it impacted my life. So yeah, next question.
Did I mention that I'm from a Japanese family that is not religious? Did I mention that already?
Yeah. So actually, fun fact, since my mother is my Japanese mother, because even though she's Christian, or because she's Christian, she's never had she's never gone to a shrine.
Oh, right.
Because she's, yeah.
Like
she's
for
Christian.
like New Year's and stuff like that?
Yeah. Even though I have, because I'm not Christian.
Right.
But yeah, she's never been to a shrine she's been there to visit, take pictures because it's pretty, but I mean she's never prayed at one. She's never done the bell and putting the money in the little box thing yeah. She's never, had her demons, what do you call it? Goodbye.
Ohara, you mean?
Yeah,
like, yeah. Where they kind of
expelled demons or whatever. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff you see in anime, my mom actually has not experienced a lot of them because a lot of them are based off of Shinto and Buddhist beliefs, and it contradicts her beliefs. So
there you go. So thank you so much for that question. Okay, Firefox asks, how to live a good life. I was thinking about this recently, because I mean, I think it's like a big question, but after I quit my job, there was like a pretty big down moment because it's a lot more unstable now. But and I can't say that I have been practicing this 100%, but I think it's in the broadest term health. Mental health, physical health. That's like I wouldn't say it's a shortcut, but it's one of the answers to a good life. Being physically healthy, being mentally healthy. I know that's really broad, I get it, but I think they kind of like having like a good sleep schedule, good diet, is kind of they kind of chain each other. Like one causes another to happen. It's like a domino effect in a positive way. If you have good health, you have better mental health, and then if you're like, I think that might be a way, at least one way, to define a good life. How about you, Blue?
I think I always say I don't want to live a life where I have regrets. So I think to live a happy life is to make choices where you're not going to regret it in the future. Of course, it's not
Well
a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. You might regret that choice in the future too, but make the choice where you think you'll least regret is what I think.
I always say, like, we have this conversation a lot, and I think I always think of that one, for some reason, I always think of that one scene in Titanic. Watch this scene not even exist. I'm just making this up. There's a scene in Titanic at the end. I'm about to talk about the end of Titanic. Is that okay? Is this like...
No, it's been released within 3 months, so you can't. Sorry.
Well, the end of Titanic, you see the girl as a grandma.
Yeah.
Telling the story to the kids of the Titanic, and that's how the movie ends, right?
Yeah.
We can cut that out. We can cut that part out if that's like too much. But I always imagine that scene where the woman is talking to the kids, and I always think I want to be in a situation like that. I want to be that grandma and be able to tell those kids things that I did instead of things that I didn't do. Right? Like, and of course that doesn't mean like, because you can't tell your kids, you don't want to be telling your kids that you like killed somebody or like, did this crime, did this, like things that you want to tell your kids about. I want to be able to be like, when I was this young, when I was this
old.
I
was your age.
No, now they're like 2, they're like 4. When I was this age, I did this. I want to be able to say that. So if anything or any opportunity comes up that, even if it takes a while to have the courage to do it, I want to be able to tell those kids, those imaginary kids, that I did it rather than didn't. So yeah.
I think for me it was that scene in Inception,
Which
that
one?
very beginning, where you see Ken Watanabe like old.
Oh
yeah. He's at the table, and it's like I don't remember the scene too well. It's just the words take a like leap of faith. For some reason, just that line, because I'm someone who values like security and balance, and I don't like taking chances in life. But for some reason, that line just stuck with me, and I can't follow it every single time. I can't. Like, it's very difficult too. Taking just one leap of faith is a lot of courage and takes a lot of courage. But I try to take that leap every time I have a chance. Or at least I tell myself to. Which is better than not doing anything. So
I think you've been a lot better at that from when we first started dating.
God, it's scary.
I mean,
It's
streaming is a leap
terrifying.
of faith, and that's it, right? So
It's terrifying.
be terrified. That's how to live a good life.
No,
apparently.
not really.
Question for Blue. Thank you, Fire. Okay, Senpai Dumpy Meister asks, question for Blue. Which books did you read this month, and which castle was your personal favorite?
Which one was your... So I was actually looking up my books that I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I read... there's a few I read. I read one called... hold on. It's called A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. It tells the story of it's the whole book is about Constanta, which is Dracula's first bride, and it's told in like her perspective. That one was really good. I also read this one because like I'm signed up for Amazon Kindle, so I read whatever's like the top charts. So I read one where it was this really depressing story about this like single mother whose kid ends up getting cancer.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, and that one was depressing. I don't really recommend it.
So doesn't recommend this book.
No, because it's way too like it just gets like nothing happy happens. And then the other one I read, it's called The Silent Bride, which that one was also like recommended by Amazon. And it's about this. It was weird. It was okay, not my favorite. It's about a lady who walks up to the altar and she doesn't recognize her husband or fiance. Like she just completely has like everyone around her is like, "What are you talking about? It's him." But she has like a
scary.
panic attack and she doesn't recognize him.
Is it a scary book?
No.
Oh.
It turns out kind of weird.
You like weird books, it seems like.
No, I was hoping it'd be more of like a thriller mystery kind of thing, but it goes into like a more like fantasy world, and I didn't really. Yeah, I would have liked it if it was a little bit more realistic. I think would have been cooler, but and then I'm also reading. I actually started reading Circe. And then I also read a book called The Death of Jane Lawrence, and this one was fantastic.
You've been reading a lot. When are you reading? Like before you go to bed?
Yeah. I finished like a book a week.
Damn.
But yeah, The Death of Jane Lawrence is fantastic. If you like gothic novels, I highly recommend it. It's really good.
Anything? Sell it.
No. It's so much better if you go in not knowing anything.
Nothing? Even
Nothing.
like the character?
Nope.
Like the
I'm not
main
gonna tell you. Nope.
It's
It's
about
just I'm not
turtles.
saying if you like gothic.
Spoilers. It's
If you
about
like
gothic turtles.
No, if you like gothic like stories, like Jane Eyre or like Frankenstein or and Wuthering Heights and those kind of novels, then you'll like it.
So it's about turtles?
No.
All right, next question. Next question comes from Jerbear. Jerbear asks, "Do you guys have a non-anime Japanese movie that you'd say is/was an integral part of your personality growing up?" So, I didn't really watch that many Japanese movies growing up, but one thing that I can say is that I used to watch a lot of Japanese TV. And growing up, I think some of the stuff made it to the U.S. or outside of Japan, like Silent Library and like Gaki no Tsukai and all that stuff. So like Downtown is kind of like the big comedian duo that's just kind of always been on TV. You just see them growing up and whatnot, and like comedians are rock stars over here. And watching their shows, I grew up watching like all of these variety shows and I think the way that I talk and the way that I think a conversation should flow is heavily influenced by those TV shows and seeing those comedians grow up. Those comedians growing up. There's shows where they just literally have a dice and they just throw it, and then it's like a group of comedians, and then they all take turns saying like stories. They just tell like funny stories. Like that would be the topic. There'll be another show where it's the same thing, but they talk about something that they love, that they're passionate about. There's one where they talk about scary stories. There's one about where they talk about something that they're mad about. And it's just like hearing these people that are just professionals. They're professionals of conversation, of talking, pretty much. It definitely shaped the way that I talk, how I perceive or how I want the room to flow or what I think a conversation should be like. And I think I think especially as a streamer now, it's a big part of my personality. Would you say that? Would you agree with that? That there's like a certain like flow that I have, or like I try to do
Yeah,
when I talk.
for sure.
Because you always say I'm like a social person. All like a lot of it comes from. Do you feel like the similarities when we watch the shows together? Oh, he's like it's kind of like
And so
this.
you're
Like,
imitating, yeah,
yeah, and
those kind of comedians.
yeah, I'm not. There's no way in hell that I'm like the same level. These are professionals, but I think just like the overall flow and
Like
like
you're trying to, yeah, like base your talking, like how you talk and stuff off them is,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's completely unintentional too. Like it's something that I've realized kind of recently that that's how I when
This is how you talk.
because you would say, oh, you're a very sociable person. I was like,
You're an extrovert, yeah.
what made me like that? And then I realized because we watch a lot of these shows on YouTube recently, I'm like kind of like introducing Blue to all these old shows that I grew up with. I was like, oh, it's like I kind of talk like the way that not the things that I say, but like the flow of things and like the stuff like that. It's kind of like these guys, and in Japanese mostly, not in English because it's completely different. But I think the overall flow still translates to English too. So I think yeah, I'm unintentionally influenced. How about you?
See, I didn't really consume much movies growing up, or even like I'm in like Japanese movies growing up, because my mom wasn't really a movie buff. My dad was a movie buff, but he liked like English movies. So I grew up more on sci-fi than Japanese movies. So I mean that's kind of why I think I like a lot of sci-fi. Sci-fi is still like a big part of me even now, to the point where, if I could choose to not be human, I totally would. And I think that's just because I just really like the movies that my dad kind of showed me when I was a kid, which included like Blade Runner, Alien, Star Wars, all that stuff. So, but Japanese movies, I don't really watch them. Never did. I still don't really watch too many either. I've only seen like a handful. So, or it would be like Ghibli, which is
Mm.
anime. So
I
I
feel
don't
like
really
you're a big
watch too
Ghibli
much.
person.
Yeah, I just don't watch too much like live action Japanese movies.
Yeah, me neither. It's always
Yeah.
like if I do watch Japanese movies, it would be like well Okuribito or that we watch together
Yeah, drive my car.
and drive my
Yeah.
car or like when I was a kid Battle Royale
Yeah.
or like there
So
was
I
one
can probably count how many I've
yeah
seen.
same
Yeah.
yeah
Like
yeah
it's not that it was never like a big part of growing up or anything.
yeah. Thanks for the question. Is that Casey? Okay, I can only see or just K dot. I realized yeah that you'd put the dots there.
I think it's Chicago.
Was it Kago?
You should know.
Just K dot. And actually, with the question, I just read the question. Yeah, this is sorry.
It's
Sorry.
Chicago.
Yeah, Kago. Um, that was the first time you doxed him. I didn't say his name.
Okay.
Let's go. Who's your favorite horror villain? Who's your favorite horror movie villain?
Pyramid Head
Mm.
and the Silent Hill Nurses. Design wise, I think they're brilliant. Those two, I would love a figure of those two because they're so cool. Like if like I'm playing a game and I could be like that's one of the things I actually considered. It's like, oh, for Halloween I want to be a Silent Hill nurse. That's one of the things I actually considered because I love their design so much. It's so brilliant. And Pyramid Head it's brilliant.
Don't As a kid, seeing Scream, like I forgot what's his name? I forgot his name, but in the movie Scream, that guy, that design really fucked with me. That
The ghost mask, dude.
yeah, and how it's like just the premise of everything where like anybody could be him. That scared me. So I really like the Scream mask. And there was a point where everybody had one. My brother had one. He had one where you like press like a pump and then like it like gets all bloody. It like gets
Oh yeah, actually I've seen that. Yeah.
yeah, like I've
Yeah,
seen that
yeah.
one. And it was just scary. That design, there's something that's really uncomfortable about that. So I think I like that face design. Um
Oh wait, no, I lied. My favorite horror movie villain is Alien. But does that count? Is that considered horror?
I would say so, yeah.
Or is
Yeah.
that more sci-fi?
No, no, dude, Alien is a horror film.
I don't know
As a
because
kid
I'm like
growing up,
mesmerized.
when I first saw Alien, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hold on, eh? For you, it must be Alien.
And Pyramid Head and Silent Hill Nurse are still brilliant, but Alien is like they're god.
Yeah.
Geiger is a god.
I would have to say, who else? I mean, like, Freddy is pretty scary in the sense that, like, he seems like such a happy guy. That's what I don't like about him. He seems like a good guy to have a beer with, like at the bar. But then, like, just like visually, but he kicks your ass and sleep, like kills you while you're sleeping, which is also a really scary thing. Like, I'm just going off things that just scared me, and a lot of it is like through the element of surprise or just being uncomfortable, I think. So I would say those two, but I don't really watch many horror films, to be honest. So I don't know if I have a good take on it. I mean, of course, like Sadako and stuff are always gonna be like up there. Like,
Yeah.
it's just though. That's really scary, but
True.
and it's such a simple design, and it's not the first, but long hair girl with white, all white is still a scary theme to this day.
Yeah.
It still holds up, and it's so simple, and it's still so terrifying, which is like kind of brilliant. It's a brilliant design in my like concept, and it's so simple. So yeah, I do like Sadako too, but I don't like her because she's scary. So thank you so much for that question, Kago, from Kagoshima. So last question comes from Vaughn. PS5. Which PS5 games are you looking forward to most? Which PlayStation exclusives so far PS4/PS5 are your recommendations?
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. Yep, definitely.
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. Of course, there's some of the Spider-Man games. I played not the most recent ones, but I have played, I played Marvel Spider-Man, which is really fun. And I played like the PS1 one and PS2. I know, I'm not sure if I think the most recent one's gonna be PS5 or something like that, and the other ones are already out on PC too. But maybe some games that are not the best, that are good games that are not optimized for PC, might be a good option.
Horizon. Right, Horizon. Is
Zero Dawn.
Yeah, and Forbidden West. Those are PS4 exclusive, or PS5 exclusive. Those are. We've only played the first one, but apparently the second one's really good.
Wait, Horizon is not on PC?
Oh, is it on PC now? I don't know. I thought it was. Sorry, I was under the impression it was.
Fantastic game. Fantastic game. Either way. Also, we're definitely looking forward to the Final Fantasy Rebirth, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Demon Souls is one of them too.
Demon Souls, yeah.
You should play Death Stranding because it'll be pretty.
Not exclusive, but okay.
That's fine. You should play Wild Hearts because it'll actually work on PlayStation.
As far as I know, Wild Hearts is a console exclusive.
So yeah, those are some good
and
ones.
I know you're already playing Ghost of Tsushima, and that game is phenomenal. So you're already playing the good games, man.
Just play Bloodborne.
If you're interested in Bloodborne, highly recommend that. If you're into that kind of stuff, that's the first ever full blind playthrough we ever did of Blluist, and Blue knew nothing about From Software and just said, I like how this looks, and didn't realize
It's really pretty. It's gothic.
From Soft was known for these difficult games.
I died a lot.
I don't think you even knew it was by From Soft, because I know your brother played From Soft games, but
the thing is, I asked him because I was like, oh, I picked up Bloodborne because I watched you play it, and he was like, what? I've never played it when you were home. So I was like, oh, then who did I watch? It's a mystery.
You were watching Blluist before Blluist was even a thing.
Yes.
You predated it. But yeah, so Bloodborne is a very special game for us. I think for a lot of people here that watch us too, it's kind of like, it's one of those games that kind of stick with you.
Yeah.
As with a lot of FromSoft games, but even if it's not your type of thing, I would say give it a shot because it's probably really cheap right now to get after all these years, and also, man,
it's just a lot of fun.
It's worth it, and it's the only place to play it too. So,
yep,
I would say check it out. So yeah, thank you so much for the questions, you guys. Thank you so much again for this month's podcast. We'll be back in the month of August to update you guys on more of what happens with Blluist. And I cannot wait to see you guys again. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next month. All
We'll
right.
see you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.